Okay, guys, to get started here. Had a chance. We had a chance, to, obviously, to go through the film and take a look at where our corrections needed to be made, where some of the issues were. I was very, very excited about our team, their mindset, their approach. I thought they came in with the right look, really focused on fixing issues, and we had a heck of a day yesterday. Took a real step forward, and very, very excited about playing Rutgers, getting on the road, and really just getting back on the field. I think the energy and the enthusiasm within our team, I tell you quite frankly, uplifted me yesterday, and I was excited about it. So, looking forward to a great week, and and that's what we need. To get right back at it and get going. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Is there kind of a formula you use for your first road game?
I mean, we have a schedule, and how, what our Friday looks like, what our Saturday morning looks like based on what time we play and when we go on the road. So we follow that. I mean, it's pretty standard, kind of what everybody else pretty much does, not that different.
Maybe mentioned, he said it back on that statement, one, you won't see that team again that you saw Friday, but also that there was a lot more than expected from yourself. How do you, that loss, just plain it was deflating, but how do you take it and turn the page and still look at what you got left?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of football to be played. I mean, that was game 3 of the season. And, you're in this for the long haul. We have a bunch of young guys on defense right now. I mean, we know that. And it's exciting to get to develop and mold those guys and to continue to grow. And sometimes there are peaks and valleys along the way. Without a doubt, I mean, there was a valley there on Friday night. I mean, but with guys like that, you're also excited about making the corrections that you need to make, because we've seen the tale of 2 stories here. You saw opening week, where I thought we played at a pretty high level on that side and made a bunch of plays, and I thought you saw in week 3, we struggled a little bit and had some misfits and some, really missed some real tackling issues that you would think would show up in week 1, but they didn't. We tackled pretty well in week 1. We didn't tackle very well Friday night. And that's something that we need to get back in practice and get back on and continue to grow and continue to develop. So I just think that, it's a process, and we're in the middle of that process, and there's going to be some ups and there's going to be some downs, and we got to manage it, and we got to continue to get better. I mean, the whole idea is to correct your mistakes and continue to grow and develop. It's, nothing's as good as it seems, nothing as bad as it seems. Somewhere in the middle, reality falls, and that's where we're at.
A lot of guys, Tanner was one of them, Brandon, maybe, they're like, hey, as soon as we wake up, we want to check film, we're going to figure out. Somebody said tonight, we want to check film. What were some of the keys, what are some of the things you keyed in on during a film session? What stood out to you? And then how responsive were guys? What was the film like?
So, as I said in my opening statement, the response of our team, I mean, phenomenal. Not good, phenomenal. From that night in the locker room to the next day to yesterday, if there's such a way that you want to see a team after a devastating loss like that, I mean, we saw that with our team, okay? They handled that, at least from that standpoint. They're competitors. They love ball. They love each other. They're not happy. None of us are happy. And we're going about the business of fixing it. I mean, that's just plain and simple where that is. In terms of some of the fixes, I mean, we got out of our gaps on defense. We blew some coverages. I mean, that wasn't hard to see. And I don't think we particularly tackled well. I don't think. I know we didn't tackle well. And so those are the areas that we've targeted. And we're in the process of that. Offensively, I thought we probably played a darn good first half. Could you have found another touchdown in there? Sure. But at halftime, you had 300-something yards offense, 16 minutes of possession, 24 points. I mean, I think but in the second half, we came out, never mind what was going on the other side. On offense, we came out, we had 2 3-and-outs. We, quite frankly, tried to throw the ball a little bit in there, and we had some incompletions, and we got behind the sticks. I think on the second 3 and out, we had a penalty and got behind the chains, and that's where, we're really focused into is why we had 2 3 and outs, and getting that correct. We got to throw and catch the ball better than we did. I said that after the game, and I would say that to you frankly now. We threw and caught it very well at times, but the consistency level of that, which was brought to the front in the second half as we started by necessity to get out of our style of play. I mean, I think in the third period, like I said, we touched the ball a couple of times. That's about it. And before you know it, you're in the fourth period. You're just in a different game now. And that makes, like, when you say the second half, you're really talking about the third period in terms of staying within your structure. And in that period, that's when we had our biggest issues on defense, and we followed it up on offense with 2 3 and outs. The tailback touched the ball like 3 or 4 times in the second half. That's not who we are. We've got to address that. And then we came out yesterday, and we put a lot of time into throwing the football yesterday and throwing and catching. And quite frankly, we've been throwing and catching the ball very, very well. But for me to look you in the eye and say we did it very well on Friday night, I wouldn't say that. I think that we can improve there.
What's the difference for you between AV week 1 and AV last week?
Well, I'd say that's a complicated thing, right? I mean, on the surface, you'd say that I thought Anthony has been an outstanding leader. I think he's playing really hard. It's super important to him right now. I just like his mindset a lot. Okay, I think Anthony would probably tell you he'd like a few throws back. But I'm telling you as the head coach that he made some incredible throws. So I guess we're a little talking about consistency in the throw game. I think that's fair enough. That I think that would have addressed our couple 3 and outs in the second half. And maybe in the first half, down in the red zone, the ability to continue to score another touchdown to stay ahead by 2 scores is, that we would have been ahead 2 scores at that point. And then, of course, we dropped the last one with 40 seconds left in the half. But that's what you needed to do on that night, was to stay ahead of on the score. And we kind of got behind on it. In that third period, it just kind of went like that before you could really rebite. So, anyways.
In kind of along those lines, when he's having mistakes or he's having consistency issues or just things aren't going his way, how much of that do you look at the receivers and say, look, guys, you have to get a little bit better open, or is it something blocking that might help them out?
Yeah, it's always all of the above. It really is. I mean, everybody focuses on, we all do, right? I mean, you watch the quarterback and everything goes on the quarterback's back, right? Well, that's the nature of that position. But yes, I mean, what maybe sometimes isn't seen is the route was broken off 3 yards short than it should have been, or a receiver lost footing, or there's a protection breakdown which causes, instead of being able to step into the ball, you got to sidestep and get your hips twisted around. Now you're not throwing it out of a position of power. Nobody sees that. Nobody talks about that, and that's all part of it. So that's why, hey, at every position, as a coach, as a player, there's things that, you're constantly trying to do a better job at, and, as the Teddy Roosevelt quote goes, the man in the arena. I mean, Anthony Brown is in the arena, and he is, daring valiantly, you know what I mean? And he's playing his tail off right now. And I think he's as competitive and tough and working at his trade as anybody I've been around right now. I'm very, very happy with him, and as a competitor, he's going to be toughest on himself. But in terms of the throw game, there's a lot of factors that go into it, and we can all help make that more consistent. And that's really all we're talking about on offense right now. If I had to pinpoint one thing, I would have said consistency in our throw game would have helped us, in that situation.
When a guy gets kind of that competitive or that competitive edge, how do you kind of manage in-game the emotion of it, where he wants to make all the plays, but at the same time you want to keep him kind of on the tracks to...
Yeah, I think for Anthony, he's been that way. I think he's been very well tracked, and I'm probably the toughest critic of that stuff. I like his look, I like his mindset, I like his demeanor. I liked it yesterday. I liked it on the field last night. All business, and that's all you can ask for. I really believe that. And you go from there.
How much you talked about the way the personnel switch? I guess it was I don't know 12 instead of 10 or something like that. Is that what it was?
By Kansas?
Yeah, by Kansas. Yeah. Like, how much did that sort of change what the secondary was looking for entirely? And then what do you do, going forward to make sure that they can make those adjustments a little bit quicker?
Well, I mean, I think that, obviously, just the ability to adapt to that in a smoother transition is practice. You're in a foot race. Like, I'll use offense as an example. You don't wait until you play a blitz team, to work on blitzes. You have a steady, you constantly preparing your team for, all kinds of stuff. And it's the same on defense. And I just think early in the season, when you have, it's like anything else. I'm explaining this the right way. Early in the season, you will get challenged by a lot of different stuff that comes at you. And I think that's a little byproduct of being sometimes young on the side of the ball. You don't have a bank. So if something changes, changing to that is a little harder and slower than it is if you have a bank, meaning you got a bunch of experience, you've been there before, and so. But I thought that the coaches made great adjustments at halftime with that, and you can see that on the film. But I still think that without a lot of bank reps there, it's a slower process. But I think that we can continue to get better, and will continue to get better at handling those different things. Simple as that.
Got time for two more guys.
Or, just curious. I know, throwing and catching is something you showed you do against Richmond, and his nemesis this year. But at the same time, how do you balance that with second half, maybe making sure that AJ is involved? And,
Right.
Because you're battling clock.
You got it. You got it. That's 100% right. You lost your fourth quarter because in the fourth quarter you can't do that. When you get down the scores we were down in the fourth quarter, that's just simple. It's a simple amount of plays you're going to get, amount of yardage you have to get, time left on the clock. You got to be throwing the football. Period. End. It's about the third quarter where is that fine line that you still maintain utilizing one of your great players, but yet you're down 3 scores. And I don't think there's an exact answer in there. Certainly at that point, you got to start gravitating towards throwing the ball a little bit more, or you're just not going to get there. You know what I mean? And I'm not bashful about wanting to run the football. But I think within that, you're still trying to get enough touches in there to keep the run game alive, because really that's our strength. And that's are you utilizing the screens and the draws and the different things where you're a little bit more of off of a pass kind of opportunity. And those are the scenarios that you continue to talk about and where you want to go. But at the end of the day, you got to get more at bats. And if you don't get enough at bats, there's only so many ways you can. You run 3 plays and you run 3 plays. That's 6 plays. There's only you got to get some more at bats.
With Rutgers coming in, or heading to Rutgers, I should say, just what are they offering you? I know that it's not a team that you see very often anymore,
right.
But also a Big Ten team, but also left-handed quarterbacks probably a little bit different than something you might see just with Rutgers showing in the film so far.
Well, for me, I'm on the offensive side right now, and I'm switching to the other side early in the week. I tell you that all the time. That's where I am in film study. But on defense, they're a very, very stout run defense, and I've talked to several people about them, and I mean you can see it on the tape. I think they're big, thick guys that are powerful at the POA. They're a run-stopping operation. That's the strength of their team, is their front 7 on defense. And they'll challenge you in the back end and play a lot of man coverage, a lot of quarters with press. And I think they do a great job on defense. I think Chris Ash I have a lot of respect for him as a defensive coordinator and as a head coach. But I mean, by trade, he's a defensive guy. I think he does a good job, with that defense. I think that they're well put together, and that front 7 has been playing for a while, and they're pretty mature. You know, I've seen very, very little of them offensively. I know they have two talented running backs. One of them is kind of a hybrid receiver, and they, you know, they're explosive. So, you know, I'm going to get ready to study them here as probably a little sooner than later. You know, I've got ahead a little bit, so probably tonight. But you know, they do a good job with their offense in terms of how they want to attack you, and I think, you know, they want to run the ball. I mean, they're a run the ball outfit, and defensively, they're going to really make you earn it. I mean, you know, they're going to be one of the better defenses that we face, based on what I'm seeing on tape right now. So, and you know, I said that last week. I thought that I told you what my take was on I thought that offensive line was outstanding, and I thought those two backs were outstanding, and that proved to be correct. So I'm telling you, we're playing against a bona fide defensive front, and really darn good at stopping the run. And as we progress through this, I'll have a little better feel as we go.
Is McDuffie any closer?
Good question. Yes.
Think you could see him against Rutgers, or is that still?
I think that's possible. And I'm not trying to play coy with anybody. I just really don't know. I'm not that, you know, that's not the doctors are on top of that, and the trainers, and we're going to be very, very conservative to make sure that he is in the very, very best position he can be in. So I can't definitively tell you one way or the other, but I think he's making steady gains. Obviously, we miss him. You know, we miss him. He was an elite player on our defense, and a very exciting young player who's really explosive and can really run. And you know, we're all hoping that we can get him back sooner than later. All right, guys, thanks.